We live in a nation that symbolizes a hallmark of democracy to the rest of the world. A foundational core of this democratic structure of society is popular rule or leadership that is legitimized through the consent of voting citizens. The concept of government by popular consent was developed by political philosopher John Locke in the late 1700s. Locke referred to this concept in the two treatises of civil government. Locke maintains securing social order through the formation of any government invariably requires the direct consent of those who are to be governed. With this idea, the notion of government of the people, by the people, and for the people was born. To erect such a legitimate government, citizens vote. The electoral process in America is uniquely designed. There are 5 steps involved in the voting process that ultimately elect the President of the United States, the Vice President, and any member of both houses of Congress. By voting, Americans have input in forging a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Now let's take a look at the 5 steps electoral process in America. The first step in voting process is qualifying to vote. Although the United States Constitution guarantees U.S. citizens the right to vote, there are certain restrictions placed on who is able to vote. According to the American electoral process published in 2011, eligibility to vote is determined by federal and state laws. Only U.S. citizens can vote in United States elections, and those only 18 years of age or older may vote. In addition to these eligibility requirements, certain number of states require residents to register a certain number of days prior to any election in order to vote in that particular election. The second step in the electoral process relates to what are known as caucuses and primaries. Caucuses and primaries are held in order to divide the number of candidates to become president or a member of Congress. In order to streamline the number of candidates, party members vote for the person who they see best fit to represent their party in the general election. Without this step in the process, the elections would be basically chaotic because of the number of candidates available for any given position. The third step in the electoral process involves holding the National Convention. Once the primaries and caucuses are over, the political parties have finalized their decision and choose a presidential nominee to run as a representative for their particular party. Representatives from each state, known as delegates, offer their state's vote to the nominee for the president of each of their individual parties. The fourth step is the actual general election, where American citizens eligible to vote choose a candidate and then go out to the polls to cast their vote. What surprises many Americans is that this vote does not count directly towards the presidential candidate. Instead of your vote counting for a specific candidate, your vote is actually tabulated toward a group of individuals who are called electors. The members of the Electoral College are proportionate in number to their state's population. For example, California has 54 electors, Rhode Island only has 4 due to the population number difference. These electors are mandated to vote for the presidential candidate who get the most votes in their respective states. There are 538 electoral members, and in order to win the presidency, you need half of them plus 1. So you would need 270 electoral votes to actually win the election and become president of the United States. Those elected are to use their elected position in accordance with the needs and the consent of those who elected them. They can be replaced by either new elections or actually even a revolution. Voting in America remains a prized constitutional right as stated in the 24th Amendment to the United States Constitution. The right of citizens of the United States to vote in any primary or other election for president or vice president, for electors for president or vice president, or senator or representative in Congress shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or any state. Today you have learned the 5 basic steps involved in the voting process, including qualifications, primaries and caucuses, national conventions, the general election, and the electoral college. You have also learned why only the people can elect to or remove from office government officials. Voting in America remains a sacred right, American society allowing individuals to vote for someone that reflects their overall views or beliefs on government and social development.